There has been a boom in new bike lanes, as cities around the world try to reduce our reliance on cars, to tackle the climate crisis, improve air quality, and promote active travel. But towards the end of 2021, a number of headlines blaming cycle lanes for increased congestion in London started appearing. All the articles quote a claim made by the team behind this document, which says the installation of cycle lanes introduced in London has a negative impact on congestion, giving the explanation that the use of roads is all about supply and demand, that if demand goes up, but the road space is being shared with other forms of transport, there's less tarmac for cars to be on. But here's the problem. While the supply and demand argument sounds very plausible, that's actually not how traffic works. The less space equals more traffic theory, known as level of service, was once the established rule of traffic engineering, but it has long been discredited. To show how traffic really works, we need to look at a different supply and demand concept called induced demand, which simply means the more you increase the supply of something, in this instance roads, the more people use it.
The Westway, as it's called, is the longest elevated road in Britain and is designed to lift the dense commuter traffic out of West London's residential streets.
This flyover section of the A40 was built to relieve congestion in West London. But when it was opened in the 1970s, vehicle numbers shot up as people rushed to use it. And traffic also rose on the parallel main roads around it, which it was meant to help alleviate, completely defeating the purpose. This is because when you expand a road, travelling by car becomes quicker and easier in the short term. And this makes travelling by car more attractive, and so more people are more likely to use their cars than usual. More car trips equals more cars on the road, and all that extra space quickly disappears. Now there is a limit to all of this. If you make a 10-lane motorway into 100 lanes, you could travel without seeing another car for miles. But we're not talking about a mathematical principle. We're talking about human behaviour, which is often influenced by a whole host of different factors, something which the level of service argument cannot account for. So what impact does the introduction of new bike lanes have? Well, the induced demand effect also works in reverse, which means when you reduce road capacity by introducing new bike lanes, for instance, again, there is an immediate impact, but this time car travel becomes slower and more congested in the short term. This then discourages road use, and as a result, congestion will largely go back to similar levels as it was before, and in some cases, go down. It's called traffic evaporation. There are lots of case studies in the UK and across the world which support this. In Hackney, East London, 17% of residents have had some roads in their neighbourhoods closed to motor vehicles, and those neighbourhoods have seen a 40% reduction in traffic as a result. In Paris, roadway restrictions have contributed to a 5% drop in car trips since 2010, while the city has also seen a 54% increase in bike use from September 2018 to 2019. Of course, some people will need to continue making the same journeys when road space is taken away, even if it takes them longer. But many drivers will change how they travel because they don't want to sit in traffic. Traffic is no more than people making decisions about where, when, and how they travel from one place to another. This means that taking road space away from cars in favour of bikes, in many cases can reduce congestion, because you're making car travel less attractive while enticing people to travel by bike, public transport, or walking. Across the UK, people make on average 5 short car trips every week. And between 32% and 41% of people say they could just as easily walk, cycle, or take the bus for these trips. In London, TfL have calculated that over 1 million trips currently made by car in the capital each day are potentially cyclable. And since more cycling infrastructure has been made available, more and more people are choosing to use it, with a 200% increase in cycling in London alone since the beginning of the pandemic. On closer inspection, the global study that declares London the most congested city in the world conveniently makes no mention of cities in Asia or Africa. And as far as blaming bike lanes for congestion, the analyst that was interviewed for the story claims his quotes were misrepresented. All the evidence points to bike lanes having a positive impact on congestion, pollution, and our health. But don't be surprised, if you see headlines like these popping up again, as more cities push for a carbon neutral future.